Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio. Your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
When life throws you a curveball, do you fight, fear it, or learn to play a complete new game? My name is Roland Friedl here on USA Global TV and Radio. You are on the It's Your Healthy Lifestyle Show. Welcome. Today we're going to talk together with my dear friend, colleague, but she's also the CEO and the founder of USA Global TV and Radio about the topic, When Life Throws Your Curveball, Reinventing You to a Successful Story. Welcome, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck.
Hi, Roland. Thank you so much. I really appreciate this topic. It's a good one.
Absolutely. I'm very thrilled about to talk with you about the topic because I think a lot of people going through crisis and some people stand up and do it even better, have more success, others fail. And we want to really give some people some example of what happened. So that Jacalyn, my first question to you is, was there any big setback in your personal life that wasn't the end of your story, but maybe the beginning of one of your greatest success? Do you have your own story about that?
Absolutely. It's when I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis in 1991. And I really felt like what was out there for me. And especially as a woman who prides herself on, this is all those years ago, taking care of yourself and being attractive, and finding out you have this disease that's anything but sexy and attractive. And actually, it has been the catalyst for all of these amazing things that have happened in my life. But it took a long time because I was sort of living in a victim mentality. Woe is me, it's incurable, what am I going to do? And I was sick every year. And then I found the Crohn's Colitis Foundation in 2018 and my life completely changed.
Wonderful, wonderful. So you made something big out of it because you support other people with your foundation. I want to step a little bit back, Dr. Jacalyn, if it's okay for you. When you said, okay, you don't look sexy anymore, I think it's quite difficult for a woman, or quite harder for a woman, I suppose, than for a man, because women always want to look good, and then you have these challenges. What was your first thought when you get diagnosed with it? Do you remember your first thought that came into your mind?
I remember it to the day. I was at University of Pennsylvania and I was meeting with Dr. Lichtenstein. I was with my mother, and I remember he was telling me, you have ulcerative colitis, and he started drawing this diagram, and I just kind of checked out and I thought, no one is ever going to love me. And that was my first thought.
Oh my gosh, I have goosebumps. I can imagine. I have goosebumps. So, what was the next thing? What changed your mind that you said, okay, I make the best out of it? Did you have a role model, or did you have a coach or some support from outside, or how did you handle the situation to stay in a positive mindset and say, okay, I keep going, whatever's going to happen?
I think it had a lot to do with the way I was raised. And I've shared this story before, but it still makes me laugh. I remember having a conversation with my father, and he asked me to look out the window of our house. And what did I see? And I told him I saw this tree. And he said, what's on the tree? And I said, leaves. And he said, anything else? And I said, I don't know, Dad, where is this going? And he said, well, do you see any money on the tree? And I said, no. He said, money doesn't grow on trees, and you will have to take care of yourself. He said, I am here to support you, but you have to find your way. And he said, never depend on anyone to take care of you. So I always remembered that. And I thought, okay, so I have this burden that I have to bear. And so I just have to do what it is I need to do. And so with my corporate career, I was traveling extensively. I was working on my doctorate, and I was very sick. And it's a tough place to be. But I kept hearing my dad's words, and I thought, I've got to move forward because there's no magic wand and no one's coming to save me.
Yeah, incredible. I can relate to it because sometimes it's really hard, and I think it's much easier to fall in a kind of victim's role than fighting. Sometimes it's easier to say, okay, I get all the attention from other people, I get more love from other people when I feel like a victim. But I think we get much more acknowledgement when we really, I wouldn't say when we fight, but when we keep going, when we don't give up, and to say we make the best out of it, and at the end, maybe becoming a role model for other people's. How was the feedback from your environment, friends, family, when they realized, okay, Jacalyn is not giving up, she's fighting, she keeps going? Did you get any feedback or positive support?
Well, I have to say that when I was in corporate, I don't feel like I got a lot of positive support. I think people are afraid. They don't understand what it is. And people will make suggestions that you didn't ask for feedback. Can't you take Pepto-Bismol? Or maybe it's something that you ate, or maybe you're under a lot of stress. So I just started keeping it to myself because it wasn't something that people really want to talk about. People are very uncomfortable talking about diseases for the most part. But what I did find was when I was introduced to the Crohn's Colitis Foundation, there were people who totally understood what I was going through. I didn't even have to explain my situation or how I was feeling. And I was asked to speak at some events. And then I started doing that. And then people started coming up to me and saying that listening to my story and what I went through just to get there to speak was really life-changing. And I remember the first time someone said that to me, and I just started to cry because you don't realize how you can actually help someone else.
Yeah, 100%. You said something very important, Dr. Jacalyn, because a lot of people are overwhelmed. They don't know how to handle the situation when they meet someone who has sickness or any other challenges and trauma. They don't know how to react. They don't know what to say. What is your advice as somebody that went through a situation like this for people who are maybe listening to the show and said, okay, when I'm in a similar situation, a friend of mine, a family member had whatever issues, what is your advice how people can approach it? Because some people really don't know what to do. They would love to say something or do something, but I guess they're a little bit scared to say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing. What's your advice?
For myself with ulcerative colitis, it is an incurable chronic disease. So I'm currently in remission for about 1.5 years, but it will come back. It always does. I mean, it's some way or another. And so what I would say to people is when you are meeting someone, all of us end up going through something. Our journeys are different, but we all experience things. So instead of coming from a place of fear, maybe do some research to understand what is it this person is diagnosed with instead of coming up with solutions. That's what we love to do. Oh, I heard you have whatever. Have you tried this? Did you see this doctor? Did you get a second opinion? So we give these solutions because we feel uncomfortable. And I've done it myself. I do it myself. And then I catch myself and I think, why did I say that? Because we want to be supportive and help, and instead we feel helpless and we make it about ourselves. So make it about the other person and just ask, would you like to talk about what you're going through? And if they say, no, I really would not, let it go. You can close with something like, I'm here for you if you just want someone to listen, but you actually have to mean that you are going to listen and not be judgmental. So to answer your question, I think finding a way to show support without judgment is key.
This is a very good point, Dr. Jacalyn, you mentioned. I guess it is a very good learning for our audience too, because we are so driven, or we are educated to always find a solution, and then somebody has a problem, and then we always try to, of course, as you said, to support, to help, bring up a solution, but it's not always the right moment. Like giving an unasked or unpermitted feedback. I guess it's the same with bringing a solution. As you said, ask the person before if she's open, or he or she is open for it, yes or no, because I remember for myself, when I had some severe health problems, I tried so many things, and then somebody comes with solution number 67, and you're already you're so desperate. You're already like I did, when my ringing in the ear started 20 years ago. I tried so many things, and I gave up, and then somebody came with solution 67. I couldn't hear it anymore, but people don't, and then people look at you and say, "Yeah, I just want to help you." Yeah, I know, but it was a good intention. Yeah, but the learning is ask before you give it.
We have to ask for permission. Absolutely. Yeah. And I think, part of what we do on this network is we provide education. And we just had a show about MRIs with contrasts. And just when the information is presented in such a way that you can listen to it and take it in and absorb it, that is very different than someone saying, you should do this. Have you tried that? It's like, I don't need your opinion or your suggestions. I just want you to listen to what I have to say. And I think that's where we get off track. That although we may be well-intentioned, the way it's coming across is intrusive.
100%. It's all about listening and just holding space and being there and 100%. So, but a lot of people out there, they're not in the same mindset, maybe not same training level like life gave us. They're really down after whatever issues came up to them. And I know it's very difficult from outside to say stand up, because when somebody is not open to it, or say when you really feel depressed, it's quite difficult. But anyway, what's your advice, not to the person in the situation, but to the family and friends around who want to support somebody who is lying down on the floor, who is depressed because of a sickness or whatever it is? What's your advice to the people around them?
It's a very challenging situation because I know people going through it, and people want to help, want to be supportive. They do the best they can, but ultimately all of us have a choice. And the choice is, do we want to push forward? Do we want to be the best version of ourselves, even at a time when we're not feeling up to it? Are we open to support? And if we're not open, then that's a completely different story. But if we are open, then again, it comes back to asking the person, how can I best support you? Instead of, I talked to somebody else and they have somebody in their family going through the same thing, and they did this, and this. All of a sudden now the person feels less than because they're not doing this, and this. So I think a good approach might be maybe watching a video together about something, or maybe suggesting, I'm going to read this book, and then you might want to read it after me, about whatever the situation is, but offering something in a non-confrontational way. Also, I think letting the person know, I really care about you, I really love you, and I want to support you. I don't know what that is, by the way. I want you to know I don't have all the answers, but I want to figure it out with you if you're open.
Yeah, very, very good point. On the other hand, there are people who are so depressed, maybe they lost, I don't know, a leg or something, or get cancer diagnosed, or whatever it is. And some people are so depressed and they always say, no, leave me alone, leave me alone, leave me alone. Where do you think is a point that somebody should go and find help from outside as a family member? When your beloved one, your friend or your colleague is not open, not listening, because they're so in a victim role for whatever reason, it's not coming out of this state. Yeah, there's no chance for a state change. When is a good point to say, okay, you have to find someone from outside, professional support?
I just want to give a disclaimer, which is I am not a therapist and I'm not a medical doctor. I'm an academic. But in my experience, finding someone who is going through the same thing or already went through the same thing is really helpful. Because in my case with ulcerative colitis, when I had a meeting with someone from the Crohn's Colitis Foundation and I said, I'm going to have to probably leave any minute. I probably have to run to the bathroom. I might not come back. And the person said, I understand. I also have it. Wow. That was so powerful. I immediately dropped all the armor that I was wearing figuratively. And so many times it does help to have someone who has already walked this walk. So what you might want to do is you might suggest, by the way, I happen to see so-and-so also has been on this journey. I was wondering if you might be open for me to send them an email. Oh no, don't, I don't. Sometimes the shame, especially with ulcerative colitis, it is a shameful disease. It's the bathroom disease. I mean, it's really horrific. There's so much shame there, but at some point, I think we want to get better. We are desperate to get better. And I think it takes some point in the journey. It's not the beginning of the journey. Usually at some point in the journey, it's like, I don't want to live like this anymore. What can I do? And at that point, the person's now open. But if they're not open, you can't force them to do anything.
100%. So when I understand you right, Dr. Jacalyn, you suggest that somebody, a family member or friend, should look for someone, maybe search on internet, maybe there's a group with people who have the same issue and find someone who is open to get in contact with the person and talk on, let's say, on the same level, because this person experienced or is still experiencing the same issue. And maybe it's a trust building when somebody is there. Because sometimes I hear from friends, you have no idea, Roland, because you don't have cancer, or you don't have this, so you don't understand me. And I understand this point of view, because when I don't get diagnosed cancer, I can imagine a little bit or assume how it feels like to get this diagnosis, but it's just, in my head, it's not in my feeling, because it's not my own experience. And so it would be a good advice, find someone who has the same experience and is in the same, maybe had the same emotional state in the beginning, and can support the other person and pick the other person up where the person really is, because there's an absolute better understanding.
Yes. And I think a support group is a great way to have other people who are going through something similar, or family members. And I ran 2 support groups up until the pandemic. And it's a lot of work actually for the support group leader, especially when you're a patient, but it is very rewarding. And something else that I want to share is for my own journey, and I'm not going to go into specific details, but I was at a restaurant and I had an ulcerative colitis attack. And for people who don't know, when you're in a flare, it can last for 6 months. It can last for a year. It can last until there's some kind of treatment, usually prednisone or biologics or something that calm the thing down. But I actually had an episode at a restaurant, and the people I was with, they literally got up and left. They didn't pay the check. They left me sitting there in my own waste in a dress. It was one of the most horrific moments of my life that I will never forget. And I actually forgave the people, because to them, it was so horrifying and they didn't know what to do. And many people would know what to do. But, you leave someone who's at their lowest moment and has to figure out, who can I call to get close? Who can I call to come and help me? And not everybody's going to answer that call, by the way. So I think we have to have some understanding and be able to forgive people, but not necessarily forget that when something happens, that might not be the person that you want to call.
Yeah. 100%. You mentioned shame. Some people really feel ashamed or even guilty because they made an accident and it was their own fault, maybe. And what you said, you mentioned going to a similar group or a supportive group. And I think a good approach is for people who feel ashamed or guilty is just to attend and and not feeling forced to talk and open up, just being there and listening and listen to other stories, and then maybe finding out, okay, I'm not the only one who is suffering this and this, or feels ashamed or feels guilty or whatever.
I remember from leading the 2 support groups for the Crohn's Colitis Foundation, we had one person who was not happy about being there. And you could tell, I mean, you could just see from a person's facial expression. And so when I was just setting expectations for the meeting, we actually were meeting in person back then, it was no one is being compelled or forced to speak. This person had been asked to attend by one of their family members who was also there. And, with the arms folded, and, you can tell that they don't want to be there. And so they didn't say anything for maybe the first 3 sessions that we had. And then finally they spoke up, and it was a major breakthrough, because many times people will come to support group meetings feeling angry. Why do I have to do this? Why do I have to tell people? I'm already sick. I'm mad that I'm sick. I'm mad that the system is not easy. It's hard to get approval for drugs. I mean, for example, today, I have an injection that I use for, it's called Dupixent for facial eczema. And since I changed my diet, I haven't been using, you're supposed to use it every 2 weeks. And I called today to find out if I could get my prescription just in case. And it's $2,700 just for the prescription for 2 weeks. And so, I'm not going to be paying that. But for many people, they can't even get the medication that they want. And so they're angry, and you can't blame them. So just let them know this is a safe space when you are ready.
100%. 100%. So, Jacalyn, we go to a short commercial break, and afterwards, I'm looking forward to continue our talk, our journey about the positive way what's coming out from this learning. So let's go in a short break. We are back in a minute.
What if many of the problems we associate with aging are not random? What if there are identifiable causes behind declining energy, chronic disease, and memory problems? We have been told that aging is simply something we must accept, that slowing down is normal, that growing older means growing weaker. But what if that's only part of the story? Why do some people remain active and engaged well into their later years? Why do others struggle with disease, fatigue, and declining health? What is happening beneath the surface? What processes drive aging? In Aging Sucks, researcher, educator, and author Red O'Loughlin explores what researchers have discovered about why we grow older. No medical degree required, no confusing jargon, just clear explanations of what researchers have discovered about the processes that influence aging. You cannot stop aging, but understanding its causes may help you make better decisions about your health, your future, and your quality of life. Because understanding comes before action. Action creates hope. Aging sucks. End the guesswork. There is hope.
Yeah, welcome back on It's Your Healthy Lifestyle. I've been talking with Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck today about what happens when life throws you a curveball and what is helpful for yourself, but what also helps the people around you to support you. Let's welcome back Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. And I would love, hello, Dr. Jacalyn.
Hello, thank you.
We had an amazing conversation so far. So after the break, I want to talk to you about the success story afterwards. Okay, in the bars we talked about, okay, what happened, what is helpful for people in the situation, but also for the people around. When you mentioned, okay, after when you went through the situation, you said, okay, I make the best out of it. Your dad gave you this advice that always was in your mind. And then you started your successful foundation. You do a lot in the fitness industry here on TV. So let's talk about a little bit about how it started when you said, okay, when came the idea of starting a foundation to support other people's, and what was your first steps into that?
When I had the meeting with the Crohn's Colitis Foundation in 2018, I then started volunteering, and I was volunteering to do different events and raise money. And I remember having a lunch with a couple of people from the foundation, maybe in 2019. And they said they were really concerned because I was so involved. I was doing the run, I was doing the spin, I was doing the walk, all the different events that they had, I was doing. And to me, it was so important because I felt this sense of community. And I love the fact that I was with people going through something similar, Crohn's or colitis. And then I started to run a support group. Then I was running 2 support groups. And then I started speaking. And then I was an honored hero. And so it just kept building and building and building. And I really feel that time of my life with the Crohn's Colitis Foundation really saved my life, because I felt like I was getting into a dark place because I was so sick. I mean, imagine you're traveling all over the world with your job and all you can think about is, where is the bathroom? How high is the ceiling? Do they have music playing? I mean, these are the things that you think about when you're going through something like that. And I know people laugh about it. They think it's funny because I've seen people laugh at other people who have not made it to the bathroom. It's horrific. It is one of the worst things that you can go through because you're in so much pain. It's debilitating. It's humiliating. And at the same time, you have no control over it. So the Crohn's Colitis Foundation is really the catalyst, which helped me get myself mentally and physically back in a place that I felt good. And what I realized was that the career that I loved, that I was doing so well at, was not a good fit for me, because I can't be traveling all over the world, 3 weeks in Panama. It doesn't make sense when you're sick. So I decided to retire. And that was in 2020. And of course, we know what happened, the pandemic. And then, of course, everything came from there. But I really feel like because of my involvement with the foundation and having access to doctors and resources and going to events where they're normalizing what it is that you're going through and hearing about what are the new drugs that are coming out. And then I became a board member. And so although myself as a horrible patient, because I never went on any of the drugs that they told me to go on, I'm still on the same drug, mesalamine, that I've been on for 35 years. But this community gave me the information where I can make choices, and I decided to focus on having a healthy lifestyle.
Very good. Very good. I was wondering because you said you're very busy job in the corporate world, traveling around. Where did you take this energy to still go to these meetings and support groups? Where did this energy come from?
Well, I was also working on my doctorate at the same time. And when I was home and not traveling, I was working part-time in retail doing makeovers, because I just always have a lot of energy. And I was running a store on eBay. I was running 60 auctions a week. It was crazy. I don't even know where I got the energy to do it. But it was also one of the greatest times in my life because I felt so alive. And it's still how I feel today, making things happen and not just being busy and filling up hours in a day, but just actually thriving and enjoying. So I've always had this, and I have to say I probably got it from my mother.
Okay. Would you say, Dr. Jacalyn, that being that busy and occupied and running different things helped you? I don't know how to, not to think about your pain and things. Was this a way for you to be distracted from your pain of what happened to you?
I think so. Although I'd have to say with ulcerative colitis, I mean, you can only be so distracted before you're running to the bathroom. And sometimes, you're crawling. And at the worst, last year, in the beginning of the year, 50 times in a day running to the bathroom. So it's very hard to be distracted, but mentally thinking about how am I going to get past this? Because if I'm not taking prednisone and if I'm not going to take these biologic drugs, I've got to mentally will myself to get better. And that's what I did. And right now, as I'm standing here speaking to you, I am covered in hives that I've had for 2 days. But today my schedule is packed. I don't have, if I could start ripping my skin open if I wanted to, but I'm just concentrating on what I'm doing. So I do believe mentally we can will ourselves to do things that we didn't think we could.
100%. I remember when we met last year in June in Vienna, and if I wouldn't have known what you're suffering from, there comes this lady we meet for the first time at this restaurant on this boat, and says, full of energy, fully present. If I wouldn't have known it, I would never checked out that you're suffering from cholestatritis, because you're just a powerful lady, and always very positive.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Well, I have to say, because I am here and doing what it is that I'm doing, I am very grateful. I feel like I have the greatest life in the world. And I know there are plenty of people who wouldn't want my life at all. People do not get me. Like, you don't go on vacation. You're not taking the weekends off. You're not going to the beach. No, I'm not. I love what I'm doing, and people don't get it, but that's okay. I don't need external validation. So maybe it's part of the fact that I'm so grateful that I have the options that I have, and then I've created what I have.
Very good. Dr. Jacalyn, you mentioned that when you found out, okay, traveling is really difficult for you, more and less, you go to retire to something different. Would you have retired if you wouldn't be sick? Would you still be in the corporate world and not doing TV shows or whatever?
I probably would have. And I'm going to admit something, which it's not hard for me to admit because it's the truth. I did not work to my potential when I was in corporate. I had a very high paying job. It wasn't that hard to do. There are people who did it a lot better than I did, believe me, but I didn't give all that I could have given. And I don't know what that would have been like if I wasn't sick, but I can tell you today, I give every ounce of what I have to what I do. So I think I felt like I was emotionally dying in the corporate world. And that's no disrespect, because I really appreciate the opportunities, all the people I met, my clients, etc. But now I just feel like I'm thriving, and I still have the disease, but I just feel like I have the greatest opportunity in the world.
I and also all my colleagues here on the platform, what we call a USA Global TV Radio family, we can 100% confirm you give everything. You're always there for us and very supportive. Dr. Jacalyn.
Thank you.
I thank you in the name of all of my colleagues. I thank you in the name of all of my colleagues. What you're doing is really amazing. Dr. Jacalyn, for our listeners or our audience, you want to take some time?
No, I'm okay. Go ahead.
Okay. Would you, in general, say to people, if you go to a crisis, it's time to reflect about your life, your social life, your business life, and maybe it's a good starting point or a good moment to start something new?
I think so. I think our bodies tell us things and we don't want to listen, and we just keep plugging on. And you and I have had this conversation before, but there's so many people out there who are getting through the day. I can't wait until the end of the day. I can't wait for the weekend. And they're not actually enjoying the journey. And so to me, I'm not forward thinking 5 years from now. I know we have to have business plans, etc. But I think if we actually spend the time appreciating what we're doing at this very minute and being present. You and I are doing a TV show right now. We're not doing anything else. We're not like looking up things. You can always tell when people are looking things up. You can see like the reflection in their eyes or their glasses. But being present, when you're going to do something, put the phone down, be present, and realize this is an experience. This is the youngest I will ever be at this very minute, and appreciate it.
100%. 100% good advice. I have a question that's always on my tongue because, I met some people and I saw them also on different videos that have, I don't know, some challenges after an accident, ending up in a wheelchair or even worse. And then they always say, after years, they say, that's the best thing that could happen to me. And I said, what the heck are you talking about? Would you admit the same, that this sickness is the best that happened to you because it gave you an opportunity to rethink your life? Would you also admit this?
Oh, absolutely. It is. So that's why I don't even mind having it anymore. I mean, it's kind of like it just becomes part of you. But I think by having a positive mindset and obviously managing your diet, and of course, we've interviewed thousands, tens of thousands of people here, and people will share that. They'll say, I didn't want to end up the way that I did, but I realized it was the greatest thing that could have happened to me because my life was, whatever they might say, out of control. It had no meaning. And then they find a purpose, and it's a catalyst, a jumping board for them to move forward.
100%. I have goosebumps, and my deep respect, Dr. Jacalyn, 100% my deep respect. Unfortunately, time is running. We're coming to an end. Dr. Jacalyn, what's the best way that people can contact you?
The best way for people to contact me is through our website, which is USA Global TV and Radio. It's on the screen right now, especially for anyone who's interested in hosting their own TV show, whether it's in English or another language. Thank you, Roland, for having me on the program today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Dr. Jacalyn. Bye-bye. Yeah, this was another episode of It's Your Healthy Lifestyle, and I absolutely enjoyed it. I still have goosebumps. If you want to contact me, go to Roland Friedl. That's my website. And if you want to contact me, my email address is office@rolandfriedl.com. So not done. Please go to also our YouTube channel. You see all the recordings. If you missed the show or want to see it again, or maybe best way is recommend it to your friends and family. Go on YouTube. You find us on USA Global TV and Radio, and also on Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. You have all other shows from our colleagues here. And if they haven't done so far, subscribe and hit the bell. Thanks for joining us. See you next time for the next show. Thank you, and bye-bye.
Every day, we wake up knowing what we should do. We know we should take better care of ourselves. We know we should have the difficult conversation. We know we should stop making excuses. We know we should invest in our future. We also know we should take the first step. So why don't we? It's not because we aren't smart enough. It's not because we don't have enough information. And it's certainly not because we don't care. We live in a world overflowing with knowledge. Books, podcasts, videos, courses, experts, even artificial intelligence. We have more access to information than any generation before us. Yet so many of us are still waiting for the right time, waiting to feel ready, waiting until tomorrow. But tomorrow becomes next week becomes next year, and before you know it, another opportunity has passed us by. The truth is, knowing has never been the finish line. It's only the starting line. Our lives don't change because we know more. Our businesses don't grow because we know more. Our relationships don't improve because we know more. And our health doesn't transform because we know more. Everything changes when we act. When we choose courage over comfort, progress over perfection, action over intention. The question isn't, what else do we need to know? The question is, what are we going to do with what we already know? Stop. Why Knowing Isn't Enough by Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Because knowing opens the door. Action changes your life. Available September 2026.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/usaglobaltv. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative Direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.